Okay, this is a weird one. Usually, when you hear about a lawsuit in real estate, it's about getting rid of some unfair rule. But what if someone sued because the rules weren't being enforced? That's exactly what happened here. We're diving into this really fascinating case where a Florida broker took on some of the industry's biggest names for, get this, not playing by their own rule book. I mean, it sounds totally backward, right? Why on earth would you sue an organization to force them to enforce their own rules? That is the central puzzle we are going to try and solve today. All right, first things first, let's get to know the players in this showdown. On one side, you've got a broker with a pretty disruptive business model. And on the other, well, you've got the established giants of the real estate world. It's a classic David versus Goliath setup, and it's set for a major clash. So, what's all the fuss about? Well, it boils down to two totally different ways of doing business. Our challenger, Jorge Zia, he runs a company called SnapFlatFee.com. His whole thing is charging sellers a simple, flat fee. And then any leads from buyers, they go straight to the seller. Now, that's a world away from the traditional model, where agents get a cut, a percentage-based commission. Zia's model is all about saving the seller some serious cash. And who's he going up against? Oh, just the big guns. We're talking about the National Association of Realtors. You know them as NAR, the folks who set the rules for the whole country. Plus 16 local realtor associations and the multiple listing services, the MLSs, which are basically the giant databases agents use for everything. These guys literally write the industry's rulebook. Okay, so we know who's fighting. Now, what are they fighting about? This is where it gets interesting. Zia's core accusation is that by not enforcing their own rules, these big organizations are allowing something he calls digital steering. He's basically saying they're turning their own rulebook into a weapon against guys like him. And believe me, this isn't some minor complaint. The lawsuit uses some really strong language. It talks about a coordinated scheme designed to hurt consumer choice and keep prices jacked up. So the key takeaway here is that he's not just fighting for his own business, he's framing this as a huge problem that affects pretty much everyone trying to buy or sell a house. So what are these rules that are supposedly being ignored? There are three big ones. First, there's a rule that says the listing broker's contact info has to be displayed. The other two are about what agents can't do. They're not supposed to be able to filter searches by the broker's name or by the commission amount. Now, these might sound like tiny technical details, but trust me, they are absolutely central to his whole case. So this word steering, what does it actually mean? Well, think of it like this. It's when a real estate agent guides a buyer toward or away from certain houses for reasons that benefit the agent, not the buyer. The classic example? Pushing a client to a house just because it offers a fatter commission check, even when a different house might be a much better fit for them. It's a huge no-no in the industry. And this is where it all comes together. Zia's argument is that by letting agents filter out low commission listings on the MLS, these organizations are essentially giving a green light to digital steering. It makes it super easy for an agent to just make properties with a smaller paycheck disappear from a search. And that, he says, not only hurts his business model, but it seriously limits the options that buyers get to see. Now, Zia didn't just file a lawsuit and wait. He made a really bold move. He asked for something called a preliminary injunction. Basically, he asked the judge to step in right now and force these organizations to enforce their rules while the rest of the case plays out. That's a huge request. So what did the court say? The answer? A flat-out no. The judge denied his motion. So you'd think that's the end of it, right? Case closed? Well, not so fast. Because the reason for the denial is where this story takes another crazy turn. So, of course, you're wondering why. Did the judge look at all the evidence and just decide this whole digital steering thing was nonsense? Did he say NAR and the others weren't doing anything wrong? Nope, that is not what happened at all. In this wild twist, the magistrate judge recommended denying the motion because of a procedural issue, a technicality. He pointed out that Zia had actually been talking to the defendants about these problems for almost a full year before he filed the motion. And in the legal world, when you ask for an injunction, you're telling the court it's an emergency. Waiting a year, that kind of killed the whole emergency argument. And the district court judge totally agreed with the magistrate, so the motion was denied. But, and this is so important, it wasn't denied because the judge thought the claim was wrong. It was denied because he didn't file it fast enough to be considered an emergency. Now, for their part, the National Association of Realtors is sticking to its guns. A spokesperson said that NAR is all about a fair and competitive market, and that steering is absolutely forbidden by their rules. They were happy with the court's decision, and they've actually filed their own motion to get the entire lawsuit thrown out. So, where does all this leave us? We've got this major lawsuit that, for now, got shot down because of bad timing. But what does that really mean for the bigger picture here? All right, let's do a quick recap of this whole roller coaster. A broker sues to make the big guys enforce their own rules. The court says no to his emergency request. But, and this is the real kicker, the no was because he waited too long to file, which is just a procedural technicality. It means the judge never actually made a ruling on the core issue, whether this digital steering is actually happening. So, while this specific legal move failed on a technicality, the massive question at the heart of it is still just hanging there, completely unanswered. In our world of algorithms and data, is digital steering a real threat to a fair housing market? This one motion might be dead in the water, but the debate it kicked off about technology, commissions, and transparency on real estate, oh, that is just getting started.